Tricia McCannon is a renowned American clairvoyant, historian, author, and teacher who has traveled the world in search of answers to the greatest mysteries of the ages. She is known as the mysteries expert and speaks on a variety of subjects from the quest for the philosopher's stone to the lost years of Jesus, the ancient civilization of Atlantis, to angels and extraterrestrials. Goodness gracious. For the past 2 decades, she has been a headliner at conferences around the world and has appeared in over 200 radio and television shows. She's the author of 13 online books, 4 published books, and over 30 DVDs, including the acclaimed Dialogues with the Angels, Return, get this now, The Return of the Divine Sophia, Jesus, the explosive story of the 30 lost years and the ancient mystery religions, and her upcoming book, The Landscapes of Heaven. It's a pleasure to introduce our friend for many decades, Tricia McCannon. Welcome to the Body and Soul Podcast.
Bruce, it's such a pleasure to be with you and all of our wonderful listeners today. And I'm really so looking forward to this incredible one-day event that you guys are holding at the Palm Beach Garden Marriott Hotel. And my friend Daniel Brinkley will be there, and of course Eric Pearl, and a lot of other incredible vendors for the mind, body, soul, consciousness, awareness, get healthy, and wake up in this lifetime
Yeah.
expo.
So we're going to have some incredible people. Absolutely, you're on top of the list of people that will be able to help people with their health and everything that's involved with being a better person, living a happy life. So we are so thrilled that you're going to be there. And
Thank you.
tell us a little bit about you, Tricia, because certainly Lauren and I know, but our folks here don't know.
Well, thank you. For those of you who aren't familiar with my work, I'm a clairvoyant. I probably read for 7,000 people around the world in very deep soul readings. But I'm also a healer and a researcher. I am the author of 5 books, actually. And so I know we said 4, but I think we've added a book in the meantime, including The Angelic Origins of the Soul, which is, got about 100 illustrations to it. The Lost Years and Secret Teachings of Jesus that Bruce, of course, mentioned, a book on angels, because since I was little, I've actually seen angels and, of course, spirit guides and higher dimensional beings. The Dialogues with the Angels was my very first book.
That's the one that we love, and we have it in our library. It's going to stay there for a long time.
And the Return of the Divine Sophia, which of course was the name of the goddess of ancient wisdom in the Hebrew and the Greek teachings. So I'm very much a researcher, as you know, as well as a mystic. And most of my books have, 100 pages of back matter and 500 to 1,200 footnotes. And of course, I'm a graphic designer and a hermetics teacher. So they have 100 illustrations. For this wonderful expo that's coming up, I'm really going to be talking about the subtle energy bodies and showing some really amazing slides, and then also pulling audience members from the audience to come up on stage, and we're going to be testing their auric fields. And I'm going to show you how to actually shift your auric field, strengthen your auric field, ground your auric field, and balance your auric field. So it should be very fun. It sounds like my kitty back there is wanting to, chime in here.
Well, that's something amazing to be able to offer our people, because I think they're expecting a lot and they're gonna get a lot, because what you just described is amazing. And I'm
Well,
so
it's going to be
glad that
experiential, not only teaching, I've seen a lot through all the years I've worked. there's a lot of reasons why we can get blocked, and it can have to do with our childhood or experiences of trauma or fear that we've had in this life, and it can even go back to past lifetimes. And that's one of the advantages for me of being a clairvoyant, where I've been able to find the cause. And then you have to go into the subconscious where the program is stored and kind of straighten out the wires and change the programming in a way that empowers us instead of disempowers us. So the chakras, as we know, are, in the ancient Hindu traditions, they talk about them as these wheels within the subtle energy bodies that we all have, the seven major chakras. But they are also like storage cabinets that contain our beliefs, our fears, our traumas, our good imprints, and our good programs, as well as some of our programs that aren't working so well. So a lot of the kind of healing work that I do with people is at a very deep level. But in coming to this expo, I really want to show people experientially, um, how it works, why sometimes we don't have a very strong aura out front, but we have strong one in the back, or vice versa, or why our auric field is lopsided, and how we can correct it, how we can strengthen it, how we can begin the process of dissolving some of the programs maybe that aren't working for us, but that got programmed into our subconscious at an early age. And so I'm going to be teaching a process in the talk that I'm giving on the main stage, not only with all these demonstrations, but at the end, I'm actually going to teach them two major processes to strengthen their fields and to balance their fields. Sometimes we don't realize, what our energy field, why it's lopsided, why our energies are lopsided, or why we feel like we don't have any support system behind us, or why we seem to be a wallflower, or we're invisible in a public or social situation. And so we can look at that and we can actually measure it, visibly measure it, and then also show how to correct that field. And I hope that I'll be able to also share one or two techniques as well about how to begin to clear negative programs or negative engrams. All of us have received them, whether it's from our parents or our, churches or our state or our governments or bullies at school or wherever they came from. And so this is a major thing in terms of shifting the energy that blocks us in our life, and prevents us from having the joy and happiness and success that we all deserve.
Explain what engrams are, because I've heard it before, and so I don't know if a lot of people would know what that is.
An engram is like a program or an imprint. And, we all have received a lot of subconscious programs, and some of them are wonderful, like look both ways before you cross the street, or, don't get in the car of a stranger because it could be dangerous. Those are, programs that can serve us. But we also receive programs, you're not very smart, or I don't think you're very talented, or you're not the creative one, or who are you, deaf? You don't have a musical ear, you can't sing, whatever the program is. And, I'm sure that whoever gave it to us probably did not mean to give us a terrible program, but, who do you think you are? Uh, you could never make that much money. You could never be rich. You could, life is a struggle, no pain, no gain. This is another one,
That's a
so
bad one. That's a bad one.
that's a bad one. So, there's a lot of them out there. I'm just trying to think of one that was like something like no good deed goes unpunished. That's a terrible engram. Okay. No, I mean, that's not true at all. In fact, the whole universe is set up in the law of cause and effect. What we do, the good things we do come back to us. And the bad things we do eventually come back to us. It might take a long time for us to see it. But as the universe has been quickening. Oh, my kitty's like, oh, I can see behind. He's like, oh, I'm very curious about this interview. So anyway, it's going to be an amazing event, and I'm really honored to be able to come. And if I remember right, you told me it's on Sunday, the 26th, from 9 in the morning to 9 at night,
Yes. It's
being
a
held
full
at the
day. You
Palm.
better rest up the day before And actually, we're going to have a little mini gathering of all the vendors the day before. So it's going to be one power packed weekend. And it's, this is perfect timing, Tricia, because a lot of us are aware that we're going to be heading into a renewed time of healing where people are going to heal from past stories that didn't work for them, just like you just described. And many of us know that these next several years are going to be completely different than what we've lived in previous decades. So, what you're teaching right now is a perfect tool for people to be able to use during these coming years to heal themselves.
Well, we're at a place where, for the first time in a long time, we're living in a time where we're not in a war. Okay, there have been many wars through the last several thousand years. We're living in a time where the spiritual technology is available, whether it's light, sound, vitamins, homeopathics, acupuncture, chiropractic, massage, chakra rebalancing. There's so many different modalities. Crystal healing, which is very Atlantean, that's kind of coming back. Crystal bowl sound work, which really can clear out and expand the field. And I know many of the incredible vendors you've been telling me about. I think you told me you had something like 70 vendors, and they're going to be, packing the floors. And I hope everyone will take the time late in the afternoon when I'm speaking, and then Daniel's speaking in the evening, to just take a little break, get off your feet, and come in for something really fun and enlightening. Um, but all the people who have really jumped in on this exciting event are people who have spent years being committed to health and healing and balancing. So it's an opportunity for people who are interested in the subject, people that are human and have bodies that need rebalancing, to show up and find some wonderful tools and teachers that can support them in that journey.
Yeah, it's just someone the other day, this really tall fellow the other day says, "Oh, I've been having problems with my back for almost all my life. And, the doctors can't help me and the medicines can't help me." I said, "You have to go to this expo because you'll probably find a dozen people that will be able to help you." And, that's what's going to be so exciting about this. Uh, just like the way we're doing a podcast right now, I've already done probably close to 50 podcasts with all these incredible light workers and healers, and they're all available on the Body and Soul Expo YouTube page. So if there's ever a rainy day between now and forever, and you want to hear whether it's after the expo or a year after whatever it is, you will be able to hear the stories of some incredible vendors, exhibitors that are going to be at the expo. And imagine having a podcast with Dr. Eric Pearl. He was so incredible. And Danian, no one is more informative about what life's all about than he is. And we have Sarah Spiritual. So we are offering for the first time in North Palm Beach County. Previously, Tricia, people had to go down to Miami, they had to go to Atlanta, they had to go out to LA, up to New York. This is the first time that there is going to be a large scale health and well-being expo in North Palm Beach County. And that's why we're so thrilled to be able to do that for the vendors here and for all the hopefully thousands of attendees that will be there.
And there are many retirees, that move to Florida because they've worked so hard their whole life and they're exhausted. And so it's really a perfect audience that's looking to how to improve their life, make their life better, and extend their health so that they can actually enjoy the next 10, 20, 30 years of life. Yeah.
Yep.
So absolutely great. I'm so looking forward to coming, and thank you so much for having me. And if anyone's interested, my website is Tricia McCannon. Tricia McCannon, it's just like it sounds, Mac, McCannon.com. But I think, if I remember, we have a bodyandsoulexpo.org wonderful website that you can check out.
Thank you. So I'm so glad you let people know how they can get in touch with you, because this podcast is going to live on for a long time, and you'll be getting calls. And I'm very excited that you honored Lauren and I to come down and be with us on this inaugural large scale health and well-being expo.
The two of you are some of the most amazing people I've ever known. You're both so heart-based. You're very universal in your approach, and you're doing this, I think, because you truly want to make people's lives better. So thanks for including me.
You bet. Thank you. God bless. We'll see you very, very soon. Goodbye, everybody. Bye, Tricia. We'll see you very, very soon. Take care.